Job 23 verse 10 reads, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth like gold." Scientists tell us that the Galeras volcano in Colombia, South America, has been an active volcano for over 500,000 years. Most of the activity has been small eruptions, leaving an occasional dusting of ash on nearby cities. However, after an explosion in 1993, an interesting discovery was made inside the volcano. Dr. Fraser Joff, a geologist at the Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico, was sampling gas vents in a deep river canyon just west of the summit when a guide jokingly asked him, "Do you want to look at some gold?" Dr. Joff picked up some rocks for sampling, and when he cut them into small slices, he found they were full of gold. This was the first time visible gold particles were found in an active volcano. After studying the volcano for nearly a year, he observed that the volcano spews out more than a pound of gold each day into the atmosphere and deposits 45 pounds of gold each year into the rocks lining its crater. Dr. Joff estimated there is a gold vein at the base of the volcano that is at least 10 feet wide. However, no one would have even known that the gold existed if they were not for the ultra high heat and pressure from the core of the volcano that pushed the gold to the surface. Job's friends, his casual observers of Job's life, were only able to see the hurt and humiliation he endured. However, Job had his eyes fixed upon the honor he knew he could count on from the Lord through it all. He knew that the Lord was able to weave a purpose through all the problems, pain, and pressures like the volcano he faced. In Jeremiah 1 verse 5, God reminds Jeremiah of the great plans for his life before he was born. "I formed thee, I knew thee, I sanctified thee, I ordained thee." The word formed actually means to squeeze into a mold. Moses was destined to be a deliverer, but it took years of being a servant to fit him for leadership. David was anointed to be king was while still a teenager, but it took years of hardship to fit him for the throne. Oswald Chambers wrote, "Every humiliation, everything that tries and vexes us, is God's way of cutting a deeper channel in us through which the life of Christ can flow." The Lord's grand design for our lives is not to measure us for great levels of success, but rather mold us into great likeness of His Son. In Deuteronomy 8 verse 2, Moses commanded all of Israel to remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee for 40 years in the wilderness. During their journey there was darkness, detours, dry holes, and dead ends. But as they look back in reflection, they would discover the Lord not only knew where he was going, but he knew what he was doing. God led Moses to the bitter waters of Marah for the purpose of exposing his sweet provision. God reduced Gideon's army to 300 men for the purpose of extending his great power. As the preacher said, God is to be trusted when his providences seem to run contrary to his promises. The Lord not only knows where I am, where I have been, but his fingerprints are already traced on my tomorrows. The combination of the pressure from the Lord's hand and the intense heat of the trials we face are turning you and me from a lump of coal to nuggets of gold. Be blessed.